Can you summarize for the guys watching what you found to be the advantages and disadvantages of guys getting into pickup artistry, such as negatives of getting too addictive to pickup? For example, in the last pages of the game, Neil Strauss wrote, "Instead of finding ourselves, we'd lost our sense of self. Mystery didn't have the answers. A blonde 10 in the two set at the standard didn't have the answers. The answers were to be found within. To win the game was to leave it."
It brings up the wider question of kind of meaning and purpose in life. And in the study, a lot of people did tell us that being in the pickup community for a temporary period gave them some skills that they could carry forward for the rest of their life. It gave them access to uh, materials which taught them new competencies. They made new male friends. Some of them had a lot of promiscuous relationships with women that brought them some pleasure in the short term. But there was a common sentiment that in the long term, this is not a lifestyle that is sustainable or is necessarily positive. Um, at the time, the people in our study, many of them said they were going to nightclubs, staying up quite late, missing out on sleep, that this would affect their studying and their employment. And as you mentioned, some people mentioned getting addicted. There is the negative side, which some people mention that if they began to, I remember one guy in the study said he saw women as treats, and that's not a ethical standpoint to have in society, to see other humans as people that can be used or for your own selfish benefit. And as you said in the example you cited earlier about the one who engaged in self-reflection, there was many elements of self-reflection in this study. That's why we chose that example. Um, so it's definitely a lifestyle which can bring some skills and competencies, but which for the people in our study was not seen as sustainable and desirable as you were getting older and as you were really trying to find your meaning and purpose as a man. And it really brings us back full circle to what we said in the beginning about masculinity. What is masculinity? What is it to be a man? Um, Living a life as a libertine in a big city in Canada, in the 1960s or in the Victorian epoch, where there's a lot of, the sex, drugs, rock and roll lifestyle, is that's not really bringing the sense of meaning and purpose to a man who was put on this earth, hopefully for 70 and 10, and has the ability to work in many different fields to contribute. One way to end this point might be to say that in the study we asked the men who were the men they most admired in the world, and a couple of them said like their father, and some of them said definitely not my father. But one name that came up a lot was Elon Musk. And this was in 2018, 2017. So it was, when he was still, he had made big contributions then, but wasn't as well known. And we asked him to explain and said, this is a guy who had a mission. He saw why he was put on this earth. He's contributed to change society radically and drastically. And it wasn't, nobody said, oh, he's a multi-millionaire. Nobody said, oh, he's well known, he's famous, he's a celebrity. It was all about the fact that he had gone from nothing to create something which is of value for the world, produce something which has changed society. And a lot of them said that's the kind of thing that I want to have. I want to have that legacy. And then obviously few of us in the world are going to have the same legacy as Elon Musk, but to have something similar. And I think that's, to me, a mentally healthy mindset to have. And that's what we, as someone who works in the men's mental health sphere, that's what I feel education and health services should be focusing on when we deal with young men's mental health, is helping them get that sense of mission and purpose and giving them the tools to be able to do that.
That leads beautifully to my next question. What a coincidence.